A little disclaimer for YouTube, I do have Tourette's, so please excuse any swearing throughout this video.
Coming up in today's episode.
Much hyped up, much promised. Got to take action. Now, you're not allowed to give pigs.
This is an invasion of privacy!
I'm hopeful we can do better with that this year.
He's grabbing those arse.
Welcome.
Or welcome back.
My name's Jim.
My name's Lou.
And we are Fields and Flux. 2 weeks since our last vlog, and it's been quite 2 weeks, isn't it?
It has. We have managed to hit 1,000 subscribers this week.
I've not just hit it, we've smashed it. So if you're new here, let us know in the comments. Introduce yourselves. We couldn't quite believe it. 350-ish subscribers in 2 weeks.
It's still climbing, which is amazing.
Yeah. So we're really thankful that you've decided to follow along, and yeah, that's it really. It's been crazy. It's funny, isn't it? Because I was saying this to Lou. I've been viral a couple of times. Big head. But you know, on Twitter, when it was Twitter back in the day, I put a picture up. I use medical cannabis, you see, and I put a footage up of me using it, and I have quite extreme tics without it, and that went viral. Then on TikTok, I kind of went viral. I had a video that did 500,000, but for some reason, and it's not to belittle those things, but for some reason YouTube feels like a bigger deal. I don't know, seeing it go up that slowly it was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I could probably ramble on about how thankful and grateful we are all day, but we got to get an episode through, haven't we?
So the weather's not been quite as good this week as it has been previously.
No, it's bloody typical. It's
half term.
School holidays, isn't
Holidays.
it? So it's like sunny, glorious. School holidays came and it was rainy, and we really didn't get up too much, did we?
No, we had a very chilled one, just kind of mooched about. But outside in the garden, the roses have all starting to come out, which is lovely. The peonies have come out, which I was watching for days, and then all of a sudden they've just exploded, and they look so lovely. The old rose we spoke about on the front, that's got loads of flower heads on it, which I'm really chuffed about. The pruning we've previously done to try and bring it back to life seems to have done the trick so far.
Well, we've found a couple of roses, haven't we, actually, that have done quite well.
Yeah, there was another one against the wall that we didn't know was there.
And so we're going to do the same thing. A tree died there. We don't really know what happened to the tree, but as a result, it's shown this old rose.
Yeah.
Lovely scent. You guys know how much I love a scent. Without further ado, we have a very special part this week, and it's the much hyped up, much promised Orchid meadow. And it looks awesome, doesn't it?
It's beautiful. They've really done well this year.
Yeah, don't know if it's a perfect year or they just are spreading more and more each year, but they are everywhere.
They look beautiful.
So we really hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please leave a like, a comment, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe.
So naturally, as the weather has warmed up and the seasons begin to change, whilst everything is growing and looking lovely, you then get the problem of pests.
And we've had some pests this week, and I would say I've been dealing with 2 very different type of pests, and let's get into it. Totally opposite ends of the scales, but the first one I'm going to talk to you about is cordial and flukes, both killing my fish in the pond room, in this polytunnel. So I've got to take action and do some treatment. Here in the fish room, I've been having all sorts of problems with this tank, and had a lot of parasites in it. So at the moment, what I'm going to be doing is filling it back right up to the water and putting in like a steriliser that will kill any parasites in there before I try and fill it up with water and get it going as a working pond and add some of my fish into it. I've just put in some potassium penangamate, and as you can see, the water has gone pink. That'll stay in for 24 hours now, and that'll kill any parasites or any bugs or any organic life at all, basically, in this pond. And then what I will do is drain this out tomorrow, leave it dry for a couple of days, fill it back up with water, give it a wash over, and yeah, no more parasites for me. That's the plan. And then we'll start. I'm hoping to get some tilapia soon, and once the koi are all sorted, we will be putting tilapia in here to feed the cats. That one's huge. So I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but it's gone from a deep red to a murkyish, reddy browny kind of colour. That means it's ready. I can empty it. It's not going to take any it's not going to harm any life, so I will connect my pipe work and release the water. Oh, it's a bit of a makeshift way how I pump the water out. It comes out here, it comes out of that. I've set that up. My other one is really good, but it was 90 quid for that valve, and then that's plumbed all the way in outside, but I couldn't be spending another 90 quid. So on this one, I've got a cap that I will undo once I've started getting the water out. I'll do a bit of a test. I'm going to let some water out. I'm going to see, make sure what the colour is coming out down there. And then once this is done, I will be filling this back up and getting it ready for the fish. Not the best angles. You've got to stand there and hold it, but there you are. In essence, yes. In essence, whoa, that's a better camera angle. Yay! In essence, these fish in here that I've just shown you will be going into this pond once it's full back up, and I've got the parameters right and stuff. I'll be moving a few into here. Then the ones that stay in here are going to be ones that are potential pets for me that will go into my main pond, and the ones that go in here will be grown on for dinner for the cats and the dogs. It was always our ambition to become self-sufficient on food, and we felt that that extended to our animals, and so this is the way we are hoping to do it. And the second problem we've had has been vine weasels. Let's cut to me and Lou to see how we dealt with it. So it's quite late. The kids are in bed, or the one that's not is with the great aunt, and we're out adding nematodes to some water. We've basically had a bit of a problem, haven't we?
Yeah, it's well, we noticed one of our blackcurrant bushes, 2 of the stems that were full of berries have completely dried up and gone brown.
Just died.
And we were talking to my dad about it, weren't we? And we'd kind of, through process of elimination, worked out it could be a vine weevil. And my dad said, "Oh, I've seen quite a few of them around." So we suddenly thought, right, that's probably, you know, the problem. So we've got some nematodes.
Yeah, we're hoping this is going to be like a biological, natural way to get rid of the problem before it infests the fruit cage and becomes too much of a problem. Because, let's be honest, we've spent a lot of time and effort on the fruit cage, and a lot of money actually putting in all the plants and stuff, and so we don't want it to be killed by that. So we are going to try this. We'll give you some tips now. We'll show you what we're doing. So if you ever get vine weevil problems, we'll be honest with you in a few weeks if it's worked, if we see more death or how it gets on. But you, in essence, You've got dried powder here. We're going to dissolve it in 1.2 litres of water, and then that will make 4 watering can loads in essence, and we will just water the bases of all the plants. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this dissolved and in there. And Lou, if you wouldn't mind being so kind as to filling up the watering can with some water.
The watering can. Where is the watering can?
In there. You're my sous chef today.
Where is it?
Huh?
Where's the watering can?
In there, in there. It's
Oh,
still
in there.
Yeah. It's in there. It's in there. Lay. No, I can't open that. You got like your keys or something. I mean, to be honest there, guys, I could have probably filmed that, but it's dissolved really easily. Yeah. No, I've obviously never used it before. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but it's pretty much hit the water and dissolved. And it's just a case of putting this water in the watering can and watering all the bases. So it's a really easy treatment. It's completely organic. Nematodes are, in essence, little worms that will feed on the larva. Yeah, a neat little creature, really. It's really handy that like we live in an age where you can just get this stuff, because I imagine years ago it was a lot hard. You know, you didn't have Amazon where you could just get nematodes bred by a chemist.
They weren't so readily available, were they?
In an organic manner.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's in there now, and then we'll literally just, it does say use a rose, and it does say to use a rose, but we'll be honest, like we still haven't got a rose sorted. And it's nearly the end of the not the end of the season.
They just get lost, don't they? Yeah. Or they don't work properly and it all just falls out.
So we will just have to be careful. I'll probably, yes, you cheeky little bastard. I'll probably let Louisa, the assistant, do this, and I will go and get another watering can. So we've done the whole fruit cage now. We'll have to see how we get on. We'll keep you updated. We'll let you know. Hopefully it's going to work as it says.
Hopefully. It says you might need to redo it again in 6 weeks. So
we'll probably will do it in 6 weeks. We'll make a note, try and get some, order some more, redo it in 6 weeks, just,
the new ones.
And see if we have to keep doing that. But we'll keep you updated as we go. First time doing it. It's just that time of year, innit, where you just get parasites. And every year we tend to get chicken mites, and we haven't got any yet, but typically saying this.
No, you've said.
The animals are all doing really well, from the pigs to the chickens, and I don't know if you remember the chicks we hatched out. But they're doing really well, aren't they, Lou? They're
doing really well. So we hatched out the chicks. They are finally out in the pens, roaming with the rest of the flock.
Yes.
So let's see how they've been getting on.
Just going to catch all our chicks, if you remember the ones we hatched out. And we'll just do a quick little shot of each of them so you can see how they're getting on. So the last one is actually the only girl out of all the ones that we had left. We did sell a couple of chicks, but the ones we had left, it was the only girl. So we definitely don't need 5 roosters. So they'll be going towards pet food. Just giving the pigs some eggs. Now, you're not allowed to give pigs kitchen waste in the UK, but I've had a broody hen outside, and she's been sitting on these eggs, and they've not hatched, and I see her, she's come off, and so I don't want to risk eating the eggs, but I thought it'd be a bit of a waste. And so I've given them to the pigs. Look how much they're loving them right now. And you're allowed to feed the pigs anything that's not been inside your kitchen. So anything you grow on your land, as long as it doesn't go into your kitchen. Hello, boy. But yeah, I thought I'd do a nice update. They're getting bigger. We're trying to watch their weight a bit because we have been told that the meat can get fatty if you don't. But we're hoping to get enough fat, to be honest with you, that we'll get some lard for cooking. But yeah, I can't believe how quickly they grow. We're still going to have them for another 4 or 5 months. So they are going to be absolutely massive when the time comes. Hello, bud. Plenty of belly scratches. I don't like that they always lick me legs. They get covered in poo, you know. Having to stay extra clean at the moment because I'm always covered in poop. Hey, you little shitty bastard! And I don't know if you've ever seen this, Lou, but look, get me a zoom into the tail here. Always cracks me up, that. I don't know why. Look how funny their tails look when they're straight. We said we'd give you warts and all, guys, and to be honest with you, we've made a bit of a mistake here, we think. For 2 reasons, really. First reason is the polecat issue. Because the polecat became a problem, we thought, look, we couldn't leave the meat birds out too late, so we perhaps come and round them up a bit earlier than they would naturally go in. And the second problem is they don't particularly like the staircase. The sides are a bit slippy for them, so I don't know if there's a type of paint we could coat it that would be easier. It's something we've got to look into. But for whatever reason, every night we're having to chase the chickens. Now there's 2 things why I don't really like this. One, obviously it creates more work, so every night you've got to do it. And 2, they become a bit scared of you. Not so much Lou, but more me, I feel like they're a bit scared of, because I've had to kind of catch them.
You catch them probably a bit more than me, don't you?
So that's probably our mistake that we've made with the meat chickens this time. And we thought we were doing the coop better than last year, and for all intents and purposes it is a better coop. But
I think the stairs though, the sides are from, they're from my old...
Getting caught, are you,
I've
bitch?
got the net well caught around here.
Oh, sorry, you're not a bitch.
Hold on. Yeah, so the sides of the stairs are actually the side panels of my old single bed I had as a child. So they are kind of polished.
Smoother.
So I think if we maybe if I sand them down a bit, it might make them a little bit of a rougher texture, but it is it's like it's shiny almost. It's got a coating of something
so
on
if
it.
they grab onto it, they start sliding down, and they don't particularly like it.
They seem to go up the edges rather than the middle, which I don't understand.
Well, you saw one. They do walk up, and but just not all in time, and we don't want to be out here at 10 o'clock at night.
No.
So we thought we'd film it. If it's funny, I'll put a little overlay music to it. But yeah, this is basically an unexpected task that we're having to do, that we didn't have to do, but it's better that than them being eaten by Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Polecat. Or Mr. Buzzard. Still not got any bloody easier. Hard work, but finally done. You probably got a comical little sped up bit, but it takes some time. They're quite feisty, and not a job we had to do last year.
No.
The Musings of Jim.
When I was younger, I was diagnosed with ADD, attention deficit disorder. I must have only been, you know, young, 9, 10, something like that. And the diagnosis never really impacted my life, in a sense that I never even, apart from occasionally saying things like, oh, I've got ADD, I don't remember having any treatment for it. It wasn't a part of my life. It never really was a thing. But I've been finding myself recently, it's almost like it's become a superpower. You cheeky little bastard. In a sense of my hyper focus, like, has really helped me learn to say edit the videos. I'd done media studies when I was back at school, 17 and 18 for A level, and yeah, I didn't really enjoy the editing, and I'd done it, and I suppose I got a basic grasp then. But it's really been since making the videos, and I had a fish channel before. I started the editing before I moved on to this one. So I've been editing videos now since about October. It's both a superpower and a problem, because I get hyper focused and then I can't really do or think about anything else until like the video's edited, or until I've got another idea or the next thing, and I just sometimes need to come out and listen to the wind. I know it sounds strange, because I can do that. Like, I can release my brain of almost all thoughts, like, I suppose meditation. Again, I never used to be, but like, I've become more at one with that side of things. But ultimately, it's like, how do you balance these superpowers that all of us have? It was the Einstein quote: if you judged a fish by its ability to climb a tree, and I don't even know if it was Einstein that said that, but you know, if you judge a fish by the ability to climb a tree, or a monkey by the ability to hold its breath, both are useless. But a fish at its ability to breathe underwater, and a monkey at its ability to swing from a tree, then they're evolutionarily perfect. And I think there can be a lot to say about humans and the way we used to live. And how we would have needed people to have hyper focus, and we would have needed people to have different sleep patterns, and yeah, it got me thinking for this week's Musings of Jim, like, what do you guys do to chill? Like, I have to come out here and just sit and relax and take it all in and take a breather. But I find it very hard to switch off from, it used to be work, you know, I find it very hard to switch off from work. And now, I suppose it's still the same thing, but it's the smallholding. I find it very hard to switch off the videos. I find it very hard to switch off. And so it's both good and bad. And I suppose that's just life. That's the juxtaposition that we all face with everything. Good and bad, right and wrong. Yin and yang, two sides to every coin, and we can't let these, like, these things that are potentially bad, we have to take them as the superpower and make time for the things that they stop. Like, for me, I need to get better at shutting off the editing and shutting off the ideas. But some of my best ideas come when I'm just like, you know, taking a wee. You know, doing anything. I just sit, and so then these ideas are just popping into my head, and so then they're not, it's like not taking a rest at the same time. But that's when the best ideas come, is when you're not taking a rest, but you're thinking of the ideas when you perhaps should be taking a rest, if that makes sense. Another Musings of Jim. I'll see you in the next one. Boom, you cheeky little bastard. Yes. Hope you enjoyed that. Love the little jingle sang by my daughter at the start. I hope you enjoyed that. That was good.
It was really cute. The Musings of Jim. I am just beginning to clean up the frames for our Supas. As you may have seen from previous videos, we have had 2 nukes arrive. They go into what's called a brood box. The brood box is essentially where the queen lives, where all the eggs are laid, and where the bees, baby bees, are raised to become worker bees, or nurse bees as they're sometimes known. Once the brood box becomes fairly full, you then add a Supa, which is a more shallow box full of these more shallow frames. You need to first clean up last year's Supa frames and get them ready for the season ahead. So all I'm doing here is I am just scraping off any excess wax. We've had the comb taken out already, so it's just the remaining bits of the wax that need to be taken off. Give them a nice clean up. So why do we clean the Supa frames? It's essentially that the main reason is to prevent disease and infestation such as foul brood. Wax moths is another one. If I come across one, they often like to nestle. You can see some, I don't know if you can see it from there, you can see some little marks here. This is where the frames sit, and just in this little crack here is where wax moth like to sit. In fact, when I've cleaned out a few for last season, I'd scrape them off and you can actually see the larva of the wax moth inside. So I'm going to give them all a really nice clean. Always check your frames for any cracks or deterioration, because whilst they will last a long time if they're looked after, they will eventually get cracks which will ultimately harbour bugs and disease. So always just do a general check to make sure they are in good order and can be used next time. What I will then do, now I've cleaned all the wax off, is I will just use the blowtorch and just give it a light going over with the torch. This again is just to prevent disease and bugs really. You're not doing it to get any particular colour on the wood. It is simply just to burn anything that might have been missed or is remaining. Making sure you're getting in all those nice little nooks and crannies, like I said about the wax moth before. Make sure you're getting right in there. Another reason we clean the frames is to prevent and clean off things like mould and mildew. We are particularly wet here in Wales. We do have very wet winters, so it's important to keep an eye out for mould. In fact, when we took the hive apart, these frames, there was a bit of mould on some of the comb. But we spoke to the gentleman we got the bees off of, and he did give us a few hints and tips for what we can do this winter, just to try and prevent them getting too much mould and help keep it's about keeping the condensation levels right. So yeah, I'm hopeful we could do better with that this year. The time in which you clean them is after a honey harvest. So when these frames have all been cleared of their honey, you strip them down and give them a clean. You want to do a good clean before you store them, because if anything is harbouring in there, you don't want to store them with potentially other frames which are okay and have it passed on throughout the other frames. So always give them a good clean before you store them. And again, before you get them out in the spring. So when it comes to putting the foundation into the frame, your wired frames will have 3 hooks on one end and 2 hooks on the other. You want the 3 hooks facing down. Turn your frame upside down, and then you just shimmy the foundation through the gap, and then just as the hooks touch the bottom or the top, they'll just rest, because that is where your nails from this bit of wood will go.
So we've done a bee update for you, filmed it. All in slow motion.
It went a little bit wrong. Well, we thought it was good, and then we got back and you transferred it over and you were like, it's in slow motion.
I wondered it was taking so long to transfer the files from the camera to the computer. I was like, what's going on?
How many hours was it?
It was like 5 hours, 5 hours, 40 gig perhaps. It was huge.
So what we're going to do is we'll show you the footage, because there is some cool shots.
It looks like some sort of space landing or something like that.
So I've just opened up the hive here. The first thing I'm looking for is how full the brood box is to determine whether it's time to add another super. As we began to look at the frames, what we're looking for is queen cups, and here we have found one. We're going to circle it for you. It's much more protruding than the rest of the comb. It's essentially, this is an insurance policy. They can be called play cups, where the bees are ultimately just practicing how to make a queen cell for when the time comes that they will genuinely need to make a queen. What we've done today is simply scrape those off, and we'll continue to do so in the hope that it will prevent them swarming or any becoming actual new queens. In these bits of comb, you'll see the creamy white substance. This is the bee larva. Now we've got two different developmental stages here, the early larva and the more developed larva. These will then be capped, develop into baby bees, and they will then emerge from what we call capped brood. So you'll see here, all the capped cells is the capped brood that I'd mentioned before. This is the worker or nurse bees. What I also check for, and by holding the frame up to the light, is the eggs, which is the very, very start of the developmental stage. If I can see eggs, larva, and capped brood, it is most likely the queen is in there, even if you haven't spotted her. And on this frame, as we were editing, Jim actually spotted the queen, which we didn't notice when we were doing the inspection itself. But I'm really chuffed because on both hives, and I've never spotted a queen yet through the short time I've been doing beekeeping, to know she's in there is great. And you'll notice that she's longer, darker, and she does move differently to the rest of the bees.
Mama, see her, son. Fucking, this is an invasion of privacy.
Nice little sing-song there, Jim.
It's been stuck in my head for days.
It's that time of year, guys. We love making drinks with elderflower. So we're going to make some today. We're going to show you how we do it. We've been requested to get more footage of Lou in the kitchen. And so we're going to ease her in with some nice elderflower drinks. And but it's perfect time, isn't it, Lou? What are we looking for?
So the flowers, there's hundreds of tiny little flowers on each, I don't know what you call the whole section, but essentially you want more or less all the flowers to be open. There'll be some, when you look close up, that have half open, half closed. You want them all to be open. Yeah, so there's quite a few ready. There's a lot that are just on the cusp, isn't there? So I think in a few more days, there'll be a lot more to come. Nice.
Yeah. So this first recipe is so simple, even I can do it. And to do it, what we're going to need is we're going to need to get some flowers. So when you've got your flower heads and you've shook them off, you cut the flowers off. You'll be left with something like this. You don't need a tea strainer, but I don't like the bits. Yes, you little prep. And so you just put the flowers into the tea strainer. And you simply just pour boiling water over the top and let it stew.
Number 2 is elderflower cordial. So you want 300 grams of sugar and a litre of boiling water to begin with. You then want the zest of 2 lemons and the juice of 2 lemons. Give it a stir and then add your elderflowers. Now we'll cover this in cling film, leave it overnight or for 24 hours, and then we'll strain it through a muslin cloth and bottle it up ready to use. Finally, we're making elderflower soda, or herbal soda, as it's always known. It's from a fermentation book that Jim got me for Christmas.
Big up, Jim!
I've got 200 grams of sugar, and I'm going to add half the water, which is 1.5 litres, into this jar first and stir it to dissolve the sugar. You want to cut the lemon into roughly 5 thick slices. So you add in the lemons, and then 30 grams of elderflowers, which was roughly 5 heads. So you fill up the rest of the jar with your water. The key important thing here is that none of the ingredients are floating above the surface. Everything needs to be submerged. So once that's all done, you put a muslin cloth over the top pop a band around it. You then stick that on a shelf for 3 days to ferment. Once that's finished, you then strain it through a fine mesh to get rid of all of the ingredients. Bottle it and add an extra 1 to 2 teaspoons of sugar per litre of water to keep the fermentation and the carbonation going in order to make your herbal soda.
Just finished up in the kitchen doing all the elderflower. My hair's a mess. Hey, grabbing loose arse. Bang! Sorry. And yeah, good afternoon cooking. We hope that we've done it clear. We're just trying out these kitcheny bits and how we cook them. It's a bit stressful, wasn't it, Lou? Lou hates it because I'm just trying to get the shots and I don't. So we hope you enjoyed it. And we do love the elderflower soda and the elderflower cordial. I'm not a massive fan of the tea.
Nah, we're not herbal tea people though, really.
But I do drink it because it's meant to be good for you. Yum. So Lou, what do you reckon? It's got to be the last time we'll be doing the strawberries.
I think so. I hope so.
Another healthy harvest. Probably takes the grand total to about 35 kilos. And yeah, plenty for the animals as well. And we haven't even managed to pick them all. Pretty precarious. Yeah. And as always, we have a section in the garden. We dealt with kind of what we feel like was the last big picking of strawberries. There has been the 1 or 2 stragglers.
Yeah.
It's nice to walk past, come in, grab a straw, you cheeky bastard. And
I find if I'm out in the garden, I as the day goes on, you survive off strawberries because you're like, oh, I don't want to go in and get lunch because I'm going to waste time. Because with the kids being at school, it's like time is valuable, isn't it? And I'm very much so just like, rather than have lunch, I'll just survive off strawberries until I have to go get them from school.
Yeah, no, and but so we're still using them for that purpose. For the main bulk of them has now been harvested up, and it brings us to what we're doing today. Here, we have been this morning putting on cuttings of your dahlias. Lee, do you want to explain a bit more about what we've been doing?
Yeah, I saw a video which was a really just short, simple, clearly explained way of taking dahlia cuttings, which the gentleman who did the video, I think it was his granddad, it's the way his granddad used to do it. And essentially you take 2 nodes with the leaves either side, and you cut the actual stem in half, so you've just got half that bit of stem, 1 bit of leaf, pop it in the soil. I would have used rooting hormone, which
well, we're going to, after this,
find.
we're going to go get some honey, and we're going to dip them all in honey instead of rooting hormone for that purpose. But you would dip them in rooting hormone before you planted them, right?
Yeah, but so out of the top sprout, where you would normally chop off to encourage more side shoots and therefore more flowers, I've got about 6 cuttings just from that one little bit. So I've done 2 plants. I've got 12 pots there, but I've got quite a lot of different varieties of dahlias, so I'm going to need to get some more pots, I think. But
the start of our dahlia empire, I think.
Hopefully they do, because if it is,
they're lovely flowers.
They're beautiful, and they're not cheap to buy, the tubers from. So if you can get your own, it's
win-win.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we've got a beautiful veg montage.
Yes.
For you. Not really montage, but just a veg tour to finish the video.
Update you on how things are getting on.
Really wanted to give you a little update of the veg. So we want to keep it short and sweet and quick. So we're going to do a rapid fire tour with one little snippet from each of the vegetables for you now. So let's go. Boom! The garlic has done fantastic this winter, and it's going to be time to pull it up soon, which is great because we have just about ran out of garlic. We've got 1 or 2 left, so it's going to be perfect timing.
The carrots have really put on some growth since we thinned them out. They seem to have really benefited from it.
And the potatoes are growing everywhere. We've got them here.
And here. Here.
And here.
And here.
There's potatoes fucking everywhere. Yeah.
So the cabbages are coming along really nice. We've been picking a few, and these ones, as you can see, the heart in the middle is really getting to a nice size.
So we've got this asparagus. We planted that last winter, so it's got a while before it's ready. It is losing the battle with the winds. The winds come and blow it over, so we might have to get some sort of support in. But it has grown really well.
Courgettes have just gone out. Hopefully they'll do well, like everything else seems to be so far this year.
Onions, and we've got these ones. Look how big they are getting. These are the ones we overwintered, and then the ones we put in after the winter to fill the gaps are the ones that didn't make it. They're coming along, not bulbing up quite as well yet, but these onions are doing really well. So the veg, as you can see, is all doing really well, and we'll show you the fruits next week. But something else I really wanted to show you, because I guess it counts as veg, is all the strange tubers that I've been growing. Let's see how they're all doing. Yes, you cheeky little cad. So the horseradish is being eaten by something. We can't work out if it's leaf cutting bees or slugs. So I'm going to put some slug pellets around it, but it has grown really well, and I'm looking forward to trying to make my own horseradish. We've got the yacon here, or the Peruvian floor apple. I'm really excited about trying these. We did have some frost and some of the leaves weren't looking too happy, but they're looking really good now. And yeah, I might have to pull out this rogue potato, to be honest with you. Now there's two here. I've got the Jerusalem artichokes, which as you can see are doing crazy well. They are loving it there. Then down here I've got Skirret. Now it's got some sort of disease. I have been picking off and getting rid of the worst leaves, and I'm not really sure what's going on, but it has got some sort of disease, but it's got loads of fresh growth. It is growing well, and I'm hoping the tubers underground aren't affected. Now this is Skirret. It's an old medieval vegetable, and I'm so excited to try it. It's a European medieval vegetable. It's supposed to be a cross between a carrot and a parsnip, but peppery. So we'll see how that goes down. Hopefully we get harvest and we get enough tubers to grow more next year. Last but not least, we've got Orchid. Now this is a wonderful tuber. We grew some last year and really liked it. And this year we grew 2 plants last year. And as you can see, we're growing a lot more than 2. And we've got different varieties here. That front row is all actually the same variety except for the one on the end. But they've all done well there, so I'm wondering if that bed has just got more nutrients or something. But these are all the same variety, and then these are 2 varieties. Oh, and this one's another different variety. So there's a few varieties in there, and growing really well. These will continue to grow now till December. Then they'll die back, and then you harvest. So it's a good one. It's later on in the year you can harvest them, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks for tuning in to another Fields and Flocks. I've been Jim.
I've been Lou.
If you're new here and you've not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe, and we are really thankful for the progress the channel is making, and it wouldn't be making it without you guys. So thanks.
We'll see you in the next one.
Boom.